Hello everybody. Well, lately we've been talking about instrument approach procedures, and today we want to talk about one of the three major categories, and that is the APVs, or the approaches with vertical guidance. That's right. Welcome back to the Epic Flight Academy. This is our instrument rating course, and I am your host, Mike Thompson. Boy, am I glad you're here, and we are so glad you're watching these videos. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But to be successful, you know there are three keys. The first one is being enrolled in Epic's online instrument rating course and studying that course and the associated content, and then of course watching these videos with yours truly. And thirdly, and just as important, review all of this content one-on-one with your flight instructor. So there's three major categories of approaches, Mike? That's correct. And as we just mentioned, we want to talk about this category called APV, approaches with vertical guidance. They are functionally similar to precision approaches, and a pilot will use nearly identical techniques to fly them. However, APVs do not meet the criteria required to be considered precision approaches under ICAO Annex 10. Approaches with vertical guidance provide both lateral and vertical guidance and offer generally greater precision than non-precision approaches, and they may provide navigation not derived from ground-based equipment. Now, when we get into APVs, they will have a decision altitude. Remember, we said they are very similar to precision approaches. This decision altitude is the point at which the pilot will make a decision. They will either execute the missed approach or proceed to the runway for landing. Common APV approaches include the LPV and the LNAV/VNAV. Both of these APVs are GPS approaches. Because GPS is space-based technology and no ground equipment is involved, these approaches cannot be classified as precision approaches. Now, I want you to take a look at these pictures here, and we're showing the bird's eye view and profile view of an LPV approach. And what I want you to notice is that the LPV approach scales or tapers to become more accurate as the aircraft gets closer to the runway. Now, does this remind you of a ground-based precision approach that we discussed recently, like maybe in the last video? Maybe the ILS? Exactly. So notice how the lateral course tapers to 350 feet either side of center line at the threshold, and the glide slope tapers down to 49 feet above or below the missed approach point. That tapering or scaling capability is what makes it an LPV. And so these LPV approaches are often capable of reaching 200 feet above the touchdown zone elevation. This is the same as the typical Category 1 ILS. And you can see in this graphic, we're showing the landing minimums for an LPV approach up at the top. And notice it's 200 feet AGL, and the graphic on the bottom is showing the landing minimums for an ILS straight in, and again, you see that same 200 feet. Now, the reason that this is possible is because the LPV approaches use WAAS and in fact require WAAS. If the GPS is not WAAS equipped, LPV approaches will not be displayed on your CDI. And you see an example here of the LPV being displayed on the CDI. That tells me this aircraft has the WAAS capability to give me that scale taper required for an LPV approach. Now, take a look at our next graphic and notice the basic difference between the LPV and this LNAV VNAV. The LNAV VNAV does not have that taper. If we look at the bird's eye view here, we don't see that lateral course tapering towards the threshold. And if we look at the profile view, we do not see that vertical guidance tapering. So these don't taper the same way that an LPV approach does and are therefore slightly less precise. So take a look at our graphic here where we are showing you the landing minimums for an LNAV VNAV versus an LPV. So the top line shows me at 200 AGL. And then the second horizontal line here with LNAV VNAV, it shows that decision altitude at 358 feet AGL. So remember, the reason that LPV can get that scaling taper and that additional precision is because it requires WAAS. Now, the LNAV VNAV approach may be flown on an aircraft that has WAAS, or if it does not have WAAS and the aircraft has baro aiding altimeter and RAIM, it will be LNAV VNAV capable only. Well, folks, that's a quick overview of the APV category of approaches. Join us next time.